This is the New York City FC Pregame Live. Today, New York City look to stay alive in the race for home field advantage as they host Charlotte FC. And now, here are your hosts, Glenn Crooks and Matty Lawrence.
And for the third consecutive match, New York City FC will play at Red Bull Arena. One of them was a road game, and these last two have been home matches due to the intense playoffs in Major League Baseball, where the Mets and Yankees both qualified and both got the big wins yesterday. And there's Met fan number one, Matty Lawrence. I'm Yankee fan number one, Glenn Crooks. And great to have you with us here on NYCFC Pregame Live, as the New York City Football Club will play host to Nashville SC. And this game took a little bit of a turn yesterday, Matty, last night in particular, when DC United beat New England. There were a host of MLS games on a Saturday. There's just two today on Sunday, the penultimate match day in MLS. But DC United beat New England, and that effectively eliminated Nashville from playoff consideration. So now they come into this game against New York City FC knowing that they can't get to the postseason. You'll see that their new coach, B.J. Callahan, no changes from that awful defeat. And we'll get into that a little bit in their previous match. They had a 3-1 lead and lost 4-3 to DC United. So DC United back-to-back weeks have forced the elimination of Nashville SC. New York City, they'll have two changes to the lineup. Let's put the 11 out there, Matty, and then let's talk about this whole thing. The two changes are Burke Risa in for the suspended James Sands. Justin Hack moves into the midfield. And then what's the other change? I knew there were two.
Out
and Gray in for Ilinich. Yes, okay. Right back. Thank you, Matty. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So tell me about Nashville. I want you to be last night watching the game, because you were, if you were a member of Nashville SC. And then I'm sure there's some texting going on, things like that. And then you come into the building today, Red Bull Arena, you're staying overnight in a hotel, hoping. But now it's like, that's the first reaction you're going to have. But tell us about how you prepare for this match now as a player.
It makes it much harder. Obviously, the season is over for them. They have 2 games left, of course. As a professional, you have professional pride, but it becomes difficult. There is nothing to play for in this country. You can't get relegated. So unless you get in the playoffs, the season is over. So on one hand, the pressure is off, because you're not fighting for your life to get into those playoffs. So maybe when you're slightly more unshackled now, you can perform better. The pressure sometimes can get to people. Obviously, if you're the best athletes in the world, which you are because you're playing in a Premier League, the top division, you should be able to deal with pressure. But sometimes it gets to you over a season long, when you've been fighting, not fighting relegation, but fighting down the bottom of the league. So maybe they come out and just breathe a sigh of relief. We've got nothing here to play
so
for.
It's really going to go.
You can try, and it's going to go one of two ways.
Really.
You're either oh, damn, that's the end of that, and just come and walk through the game, metaphorically speaking.
I'm really glad that BJ's putting his first team out, because you could go a different way.
Look, they can try things. They can play out of the back a little bit easier, or you can try a Cruyff turn on the top of your 18-yard box.
They do have 12 set piece goals this year.
You can try different set pieces. You can do lots of different things, and I truly believe it's one of two ways. I don't think that there's any middle. I think New York City FC either win this pretty easily, or it becomes a very, very tough game. But Nashville at their best still shouldn't be a match for NYCFC, looking at what's happened throughout this season. Yeah. But again, Glenn, you and I did it before we came on air, and you look down at the lineup and you look at on paper, Sam Surridge is a very good centre forward. Hani Mukhtar's one of the best players in the league. Wheel and Schaffelberg are very good. Schaffelberg's an international. Godoy does a job there. Yazbek's an Australian international. Walker Zimmerman's an American international. So Shaq Moore. So looking at the team on paper, it should be a good team.
Joe Willis has 8 clean sheets.
Lovitz is a Canadian international.
Hey, Matt, I want to interrupt because we're getting a lot of people asking also, and maybe I should have kicked off the pregame live with this, but we have a situation outside of Red Bull Arena, and we don't know what it is exactly. Matty, you share what you've heard. But we are getting some, why is the stadium on lockdown? there was another question here somewhere. Any idea why the gates are closed? And
look, we have an idea, don't we? We know that normally we don't see the sniffer dogs going round. So sniffer dogs either means drugs or explosives, and it's not going to be drugs, it's going to be explosives around. So somebody somewhere within the police force or within the Red Bull Arena crew has either had a bomb threat phoned in, or just something has happened online chat or whatever it may be. But we do know that fans are being held outside. We've been told to stay put, and we know that more police dogs have come into the area. And we know that even our room sat here on the 6th floor at Red Bull Arena, we had to leave our room while the police sniffer dogs came in, and we've never had to do that previously. It normally happens before we are even in the building. As far as I'm aware, that the building is always swept because it's a stadium within New York and New Jersey. I think that happens for any sporting event, probably any pop concert and anything like that. So yes, we don't know exactly, but that is my assumption, Glenn. That's what's going on. We do know from our Spanish colleagues as well, who are
they're stuck,
stuck downstairs.
Yeah, for those of you Ariel, the pregame show with Roberto and Ariel on the New York City FC Network Spanish side of things is hold on, I just want to make sure that I want to provide an update here. The New York City, due to safety and security concerns at the stadium, premium gates will now open at 3. That was 30 minutes ago. The most recent announcement is stadium gates remain closed as we continue to work through the situation. We will provide an update as we learn more. Stadium gates still closed due to threat. Further updates to come, and that's the most recent.
Which isn't overly reassuring when you're already in the stadium. Yeah, you've been told to stay put. But anyway, if we suddenly go offline, anyway.
No, stop. But as you look out onto the pitch and you see no one in the stadium, there would be more people in. Obviously, the teams would be warming up. So consequently, it would look like we would normally see teams out warming.
The
at
kickoff
this point
will be delayed. Yeah. I think we can categorically say that as factual. We're only 38 minutes till 4 o'clock. We're 48 minutes till kickoff time. Normally the goalkeepers would be out. The players normally come out. The outfield players normally come out 40 minutes before kickoff, but goalkeepers quite often come out.
Yeah, we would see
45 minutes to an hour before kickoff. Matt Freese normally comes out a lot earlier, as does Luis Barraza and the third choice goalkeeper, if there is one here to help out with the goalkeeper training and goalkeepers warming up. So yes, look, I know I joke because that's all I can do right now, Glenn. It's obviously a very serious matter. There are lots of people within the stadium right now who are working, either broadcasters or the security crew here or the stewards for the game. But yes, anybody who has not got in has been made to either wait downstairs, they can't go up on any floors, or they've been made to wait outside if they haven't actually got within the building. So yes, it's a little bit scary. Let's hope it is just that. Let's hope it's just the threat, Glenn, and let's hope we can go about calling this game and calling this Facebook Live and concentrate a little bit more on Nashville, and probably more importantly, NYCFC, as they're the only one of the two teams.
I've got a lot to share. And what we're going to do, we would normally skip off the air early, but what we'll do is
carry on.
We've done this before. We had a weather delay earlier this year. We've been involved in many of those throughout our broadcast partnership, Matty.
Yeah.
And so what we will do is we will merge our NYCFC pregame live stream, because I think it's a public service as well,
absolutely,
to let everyone know that might be viewing, and maybe people outside the stadium are listening as well, to give you the updates as we receive them. But we're on the roof right now. Myself, Matty Lawrence, and that's Chris Sakonis, you see behind us, who hosts our halftime and postgame show. And he also provides, hopefully you go online at times.
Just to let everybody know, there is a new kickoff time as of right now.
Okay, and it's going to be 4:10 is the scheduled kickoff time. And it's going to be later. We don't have a specific time yet, but no question it's going to be a little later. And it's really going to be dependent on when people can start filing in to Red Bull Arena. So we have a situation where there has been some sort of a threat made in whatever manner it's happened. There are many officers and police dogs who have they came through our booth, for instance, at one point.
Just reading,
and that's never happened.
Yeah, reading a text from Roberto, our Spanish colleague. He's saying that the police are now coming out of the stadium, and the gate agents, the ticketing agents, are now taking their place at the stadium. So it looks as though people are starting to be let in any second now.
Okay.
That's just coming from Roberto, who says that
right.
he sees the police and the sniffer dogs coming out. So
okay, well done. Hey, so we get to the stadium early, and I want to show this because I took a picture of him today. Matt Freese.
Yes.
So he has this. So it's my I suppose it's my job now, because I've seen this before, and I've always wanted to ask him. First of all, he's got his headsets on.
Yes.
So he's listening to something. So I'm wondering, is it music? Maybe it's inspirational words. Maybe it's Gandhi. Who knows? And but he's always wearing the same thing. And here comes Rob Vertugin with a bag of balls, and Grant Barge, another one of the assistant coaches, our man from West Point. And it looks certainly promising now that we will get the game started. There'll be a slight delay at the very least. And here come the keepers, led by Matt Freese, who will start today. But there's Freese. This is like his little it's become a pregame tradition for him, where he comes out well before anyone else. Maybe he gets to the stadium before any of the other players too.
Oh, he does. He definitely gets here before the other players.
And then, did you have a ritual, Matty, of any sort?
I didn't have a ritual, but because I lived a little bit away from my stadium most of the time, whether it was Crystal Palace or Millwall, both of them being London teams, traffic could get bad. So I always made sure, and I came from the south coast of England, so that was probably about an hour's drive without traffic. I knew that around the M25, the orbital road of London, and within London, it could get bad. So I was always there, similar to Matt Freese, probably 2.5 hours before kickoff, when technically you don't have to be there till an hour and a half before kickoff. But I would like to get in early, have a banana, hydrate some more, just to make sure that I wasn't sweating on a motorway or wasn't sweating stuck in traffic. So, I don't know where Matt Freese lives, but certainly I like what he's doing, and certainly that's a similar ethos to what I have had before.
So you didn't have any odd superstitions?
Oh, I had about 3 million superstitions. Yeah, that's just
that's more maybe. But it's pregame. Did you have a pregame superstition? If you won the previous match, did you not change your socks? I don't know.
No, I always put my kit on the same way. I always put my left boot on first. I always folded my towel just before going out. I always had a banana before a game, and there's probably many others. I had many superstitions, many of them very boring and that I won't go into. But,
all right. We'll keep.
I had a lot of them.
We'll keep it at that. John. Let's see what John Rojas has to say. So he's basically with the plan of feeling smells, temperature, use a mental strength technique. So he's talking about what Matt Freese is doing. John is a coach, by the way. He's also a colleague of ours. And so he's grounding himself, according to John. So I'm going to ask him directly about this, John. I'm going to copy and paste this and make sure that I have it to share with Matt. So I'm interested in what he's hearing.
I never went out to look at the pitch before going out for my warm-up. I didn't feel like I needed to do that. I wanted to savor it when I ran out 40 minutes before kickoff. So I didn't come and do the walking around the pitch like they did.
Yeah.
Or they do. The modern player goes out there with his Beats or his Bose headphones on.
The Beats. That's what I wanted to say earlier, but
I didn't do that. I just wanted to savor the moment when I ran out there, when the crowd was virtually, or the stadium was virtually full.
Let me talk to Chris Sakonis. I want you to make sure that we're okay, if he can hear me, so that we just merge right into our pregame show, which will begin at 3:45 if necessary. Right now it's at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. We're in a bit of a holding pattern, although the keepers have come out to warm up. So I suppose we should show you that right beneath us here. And there, this is the warm-up side of the pitch for New York City FC. We are Red Bull Arena, as you can see, in Harrison, but we don't see any supporters.
No, all the Nashville goalkeepers are out as well. So we know that the kickoff is relatively imminent. We know that the kickoff will be, in my opinion, will be within an hour, Glenn, because that's when the goalkeepers normally come out. Then when the players come out, it will be about 40 minutes before kickoff time, I would have thought. That's just me speculating. I don't know. We haven't had any word. But as far I would envisage, kickoff being about 4:30, something similar to that, Glenn.
Okay. So, and our broadcast, and we're getting a note from outside of the New York City FC communication staff. We're getting a note from someone who works beside the pro referees, and now we're hearing 4:25 as a possibility. So it's going to be it's going to be somewhere in that vicinity, but it's good for us to know because we've got your live commentary, the New York City FC network. Now, if you're watching us here and you're not attending the game at Red Bull Arena and you're going to watch it on Apple TV, our English hometown commentary is also available on the Apple TV app and MLS Season Pass. You just go on there. I don't think it's available.
I think it's mandatory. I think that's the word you're looking for.
I have used that word in the past, but it doesn't always work. But it is mandatory. Well, and one of the reasons why is because of some of the goal scorers calls and things you can hear. Like, did you hear about the 19-year-old who scored his very first goal in New York City's most recent win as they beat Cincinnati right here at Red Bull Arena 3-2? As you heard it. The New York City FC network. It's Maxey again. He's got Kevin O'Toole and Santi over here on the left side. He'll go square about 40 yards across the field. And this is to Ilinic. Mitja Ilinic lifts the right leg, strikes it firm, low on the deck, beats Celentano back post. And New York City opens up the scoring in the 16th minute. And it's an emotional Mitja Ilinic who gets his first career goal. So that's 3 consecutive games where New York City has had a player score their number 1 for the club. James Sands, Tavon Gray, and now Mitja Ilinic. What a ball for Maxi Morales to start it.
Well, the right backs have always been the driving force in terms of goal-scoring production. Tavon Gray with the left just a few days ago, Mitja Ilinic with the right. He has the confidence. We've seen him time and time again. We've seen him hit the upright at least 1 or 2 times in the last few weeks. This strike is brilliant. It virtually hits the inside of the upright and goes in. But what a strike. The best thing as well, keeps it hard and low. It's a zippy surface. It's been watered and it has been fizzing around. And look, New York City FC have been the better team.
All right, the best part about this is that I went down on the field before the game, and there was Mitja Ilinic with Jovan Mijatovic. They hang. They're brothers. There's no question about it. And so I talked to him about his goal, and I said that Matty had suggested that the slick surface really helped it along, and he goes, yeah, I don't know if I would have scored the goal without it being slick and skipping. But then he also said the following, because you complimented on putting it so low and firm. He said, I was actually aiming for the upper left-hand corner. That's from Ilinic himself. He's an honest boy, and I like him. And I like him even more now. And I want you to listen to this, Matty, and it's a fairly lengthy cut. It's over 2 minutes. But I sat down with him one-on-one at the facility today, and I asked him about his first career goal and the fact that he's playing behind Tavon Gray. Gray also getting the start again today. So here's a portion of that interview.
Just crazy emotions. And yeah, like I said,
you were very emotional. So where did that all come from? It looked like you were crying.
Well, yeah, it was really emotional. Like I said, there has been many ups and downs this season, last year. So really means a lot. It was not easy periods for me, the last 2 months, but I trained well. I was there for my teammates, and finally also 3 days ago, Tavon scored, now me. So I guess right backs are on fire now.
They absolutely are. And then before that, Sands. So in 3 games, you've had players score their first goals for the club. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, I hope we will keep the tradition going on now also on the Sunday game and in the playoffs. So it's really nice to see the whole team basically being in a form. Now it's really important time of the season because we want to go in the playoffs, not only to compete, but obviously we want to fight for the trophy and bring the trophy back in the space where it deserves.
I don't know if you remember a conversation we had. It was at a off-season event, and you said to me, because we were talking about your attacking skills and Tavon's defensive skills, and you said to me, well, if one of us could become the other, we'd have quite a player. Tavon's improved his attacking skills, and you've improved your defensive skills, but you hadn't started in a long time, and I know that's part of your frustration. So there's some competition there. But one thing I noticed, so talk about the competition, but also how happy you were for him after he scored.
Yeah, like you said, look, for me, it's not even competition. I'm super happy about his progress in attacking third. Really, I think he has now like 7 assists or something. Yeah, super happy about this. I guess you could also see my celebration when he scored, because he really means a lot to me, because he's teaching me a lot about defending things, because that was my main goal to improve. Maybe I was lacking a little bit in attacking third, but like you say, it was not luck on my side, you know. But I think this has turned now, and we are just great teammates. There is not competition. It's just, in my opinion, it's just about who is better at the moment, you know. And we are really like trying to duplicate each other. We both have some things to improve. We are working hard on this. And yeah, I think this is really healthy for the team, because like I said before, when he plays, I'm happy for him. When I play, he is happy for me. So I think this is also the way it should be, and we need to keep this now going for the players.
So first thing I think of, that's a mature 19-year-old who has spent a lot of time on the bench recently, gets to start, takes advantage of it, and now he'll sit back down today because Tavon Gray, the reason he sat out was the amount of minutes that he had played and the load on his body.
Yeah, maybe he didn't articulate it properly. Obviously, English is his second language. He says there isn't competition. I disagree with that. What thrives and what spurs you on is the fact that there is competition. So
I think he means
there's no animosity.
Yeah,
for me, there is absolutely competition, but there's no animosity.
Right.
And that's how it should be within a team. And look, I don't speak a word of Slovenian, so what can I say? He's speaking in his second language. There is 100% competition. That is how you thrive, but no animosity, and that is what you want. And yes, you feel good for your teammate, but you always want to be playing there. That's why you're a professional. That's why you've got to this level. But I'm with the sentiment of what he's saying. Absolutely, there has to be competition for you to drive each other on.
So he gets his first career goal, and we talked about Tavon Gray getting his first the game before, James Sands his first the match before that. So, Matty, I put a poll up.
Yep.
And it was, so James Sands, Tavon Gray, Micha Linic. Which player do you think could score their first goal for New York City to extend the streak to 4 games? And I put 4 players out. Thiago Martins, Burke Risa. I didn't know Risa would be starting, but he is, so that increases his chances. Strahinja Tanasiewicz, you thought he might have a chance. Or Christian McFarlane, who's been sitting behind Kevin O'Toole now for 4 consecutive games. The poll has a slight edge for Martins over McFarlane, 47-42, and then Burke and Tanasiewicz come in next. But McFarlane, who has hardly played, he finished second in the poll.
I would say that shows what faith or lack thereof that people have in Risa or Tanasiewicz, rather than the quality of McFarlane. But I do agree that McFarlane is very good going forward. That's if he gets on the pitch. And look, Martins, I think Martins is a very good header of the ball. But defensively, I don't think he attacks the ball too well in the opposition penalty area, which is obviously what you want to score a goal. And I'm hoping that he rams those words down my throat here today, because I'd love to see Thiago Martins play, because he is one of I've said there aren't leaders, but he's up there with maybe being a leader on the team. Even
but he's had chances in front of the goal, and it's like the Chanot syndrome. How many times did Maxime Chanot head the ball over the bar?
Upwards, he'd head the bottom third of the ball, and it would always go up.
So this is where Martins needs to come through. So Martins a slight winner. Let's see if it happens. It would be pretty cool. 4 straight games with a guy getting their first goal. Now a guy making another start, his 3rd straight start, and now he moves into the midfield, is Justin Hack. And it's James Sands suspended, yellow card suspension, yellow card accumulation. And so Burke Reese is going to come in the back, and then Hack is going to move into the midfield. Andres Pereira is on the bench, but I suspect he would have started this game had he not put in so many minutes coming off the injury, which was an adductor, a groin, and you have to take care of that. And so Risa, he'll start at left central, and then Hack's going to start in the midfield with Park. So here's I talked about Hack with Nick Cushing, part of the pregame show coming up soon. I'll try to figure out the time that will be on, but coming up soon. We are in a bit of a delay. There was some activity outside, police activity outside of the stadium. Apparently there was a threat of some sort, so there was a big delay to allow people in. We were already here on the roof, so we were just
we were expendable, basically.
We were here. No helicopters came in to get us out of here, but I guess everything's cool now. But here's Nick Cushing on Justin Hack.
Before we close, Justin Hack. So this has been interesting. Now, he's come in at left central defense out of necessity. Now he's played 2 in a row there. I don't know if he's getting a third on Sunday. Is there a possible scenario where Justin Hack is your left central defense maybe the remainder of the way? I mean, if you're getting the results and you're getting the good play?
Yeah, I think Justin has shown the ability to play in the back. I think as he's matured with age, he's become that sort of hybrid central midfield player, central defender, right? We've seen it before with James Sands, where they have the technical ability and the vision and the composure to play in the back the way we want to play the game, but they also have the physical ability and the understanding to defend the game. So he went in a moment when the team needed him. We've had that solution in our pocket for a long time, and Justin has been aware of it. And we're winning football games, right? This stage of the season's about form, not freshness, really. Everybody is a little bit tired and everybody has complex problems in the sense of injuries and suspensions. For us, it's about finding a solution. And as we get Burke back, Burke is now fit, Tanas Lijevic is now not suspended. We'll find the best solution for the team, whatever that will be.
All right, so basically Justin Hack, I think he would have started at left central defense again if Pereira was fit enough to come into the midfield. I don't know that, but I think, asking him whether Hack is going to be your center back through the playoffs, why would you change if things are going well? You just right?
I've always said it to you that you deserve the right, you earn the right to wear the shirt, and Justin Hack has done that for me throughout the season.
Yeah.
But certainly in the last couple of games when he's been asked to play as a left centre half, I think he's been absolutely brilliant. The only thing with Justin Hack is I love everything about him. I'm never sure whether he's going to be going with the hairband or the pigtails with that hair, Glenn. That's the only thing. But all joking aside, he has been wonderful for me this season because of how many positions he's been asked to play. He really hasn't been the jack of all trades. He's been the master of all trades when asked to play. I think you told me that he played in every 4 positions in the back line, and he's played as a holding midfielder where he's going to play today. And I think he has been a 6, 7 out of a 10 every time he's been asked to play.
I think he'd be a good target forward also.
Can you imagine
if you serve him the ball, he's going to flick head.
He's got physicality. Yeah. He's got a real desire to win.
Let's see him up there.
I'll tell you what else he's got.
I'll tell you, if Nick Cushing pushes him up there before Jovan Mijatovic gets another crack, I think that would not work.
For me, he's got self-belief. He's got self-belief that he can play anywhere. And I think, and this is only the insinuations from Nick Cushing, that he's not afraid to bang on the door and tell Nick Cushing, or knock on the door, not bang because that would be rude, knock on the door and say, I think I should be playing. I've earned the right to wear the shirt.
He's referred to that very point. All right, in just a couple of minutes, we're going to have our pregame show with Nick Cushing coming up on our live commentary on the New York City FC Network and also on MLS Season Pass Apple TV. Well, decision day after the international break, 4 teams still remain alive for 2 spots at the Eastern Conference. The West is all set. Josh Wolf got the sack after Austin was eliminated yesterday. So there's a lot to talk about in the soccer world, especially in Major League Soccer, but specifically here at Red Bull Arena. I'm Glenn Crooks for Matty Lawrence. Chris Saccone standing by. We'll be with you again in a couple of minutes. Thanks for joining us.